Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Beat Podcast. Saul Marquez here, and I'm recording live from the Health Conference in Las Vegas. And John Harrison just walked in the door. He is the president and general manager of WebMD Health Services. We've been waiting for you, John. I'm so glad that you're here.
Saul, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And it was great to see you. And I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
Likewise. So, John, tell us a little bit more about your role at WebMD.
Well, as you may expect, WebMD is a very large organization. We actually interact with probably 90% of the population in the U.S. every single year through one of our health properties. I'm responsible for the WebMD Health Services Group, which is all about providing holistic well-being solutions to large employers, health plans, and also to public sectors. We support people in over 110 countries across the world and provide a full holistic well-being solution that includes both digital solutions, human-based award-winning services, as well as a great partner ecosystem.
Well, that's fantastic. And John, I heard that you have like a background in improv.
I do actually. It's a fun thing. I have a theater arts degree. I've done a lot of Shakespeare.
Cool.
Have you? I have. Wow. I've done improv's awesome. The thing about improv is a lot of people get nervous.
Yeah.
They get scared. They feel like, I don't know if I can perform in this situation. The reality is we are actually all doing improv all day long, and we just don't accept it. So whether you're in a grocery store and you're interacting with someone, whether you're walking into a meeting that maybe you're the most prepared for or the most unprepared for, you're going to be asked a question that you're going to have to, in the moment, answer. And that is, in its essence, a form of improvisation. It's just being present, being authentic, being yourself, and bringing that in the moment. And if you can do that, you can do improv.
Well, that's a really de-risked way of thinking about it.
It is. Well, it just makes it accessible, right? Because things don't have to be scary in the world. And I think a lot of things, even just around holistic well-being and health, is if you can actually meet people authentically where they are, if you can understand where they're at and meet them without some level of judgment or some level of pressure, but actually meet them where they are and sort of help guide them down a path where it doesn't really matter where someone is and where their starting point is, you can take them down a better path for a better version of themselves.
That's awesome. And does the improv get better the more data you have, the more information you have?
Well, it can. It can get more personal. It can get more specific. Certainly, I think that's a great call into certainly our space and our category. So yes, certainly with the more information you have, you can be more personal, you can be more relevant, you can certainly have a better impact, which in the world of improv is all about applause and enjoyment. So
that's awesome,
if we can drive that, that would be great.
That's so cool. All right, so let's get into it. You mentioned, right, 90% of the U.S. accessing your information over the year. Payers, large employers, and the government, right? All the payers.
All the public sectors.
They're all payers, right? Like, let's just call it what it is, right? Informing them. What are some transformative trends you're seeing in the corporate well-being space, reshaping how companies lead, support, and succeed?
Well, we've seen certainly over the past couple of years, a whole trend of moving from just a generic focus on wellness to really a holistic well-being approach. And I think the way to think about that is that if we were to sit down, go into a room and we ask, 10 people are in the room, ask them all to define what well-being means to them, you're going to get 10 different interpretations, 10 different definitions of what that is. Because for me, it's going to mean I want to focus on my mental and emotional health. My sleep isn't exactly where I need it to be. Maybe I've recently been diagnosed with a condition that I need to manage. And so with the trends that we're seeing are definitely sort of pushing into all aspects of holistic well-being, and not just pushing into it in a way of having unique solutions, but having them offered in an integrative way. So that if based on where I am in my own health journey, how can I help support that person based upon where they are, using personalization, using data, using different innovative techniques that are both digital, but also human as a part of it as well. The world is obviously moving with AI in a lot of different directions. We're going to have AI coaches in our pocket that are going to be, helping nudge us along in different ways. There's some great things that have even been announced at the conference from Google and from others. But I think the key to all of it is we have to be able to meet people first and foremost where they are on their journey, not necessarily where we think they should be. And we have to be able to bring a combination of technology and human services, because at the end of the day, there's certain people that'll love to live off their phone or live off a device and do all the right things. And there's a huge portion of the population that will only go so far, right? So the ability to integrate the human into that fold and the human to be able to sort of help, nudge in a different way. If you can do that in a measurable, impactful way, think that's probably the other single biggest trend that we're seeing, and where investments happened in this space. A lot of organizations are coming forward and saying, I need to see the results. I need to be able to actually measure real health risk improvement on a year-over-year basis. And how do these solutions stack up, and are they actually proving value? And if your solutions can't prove real value and real impact, you're going to get stuck. You're not necessarily going to be able to have the same staying power with the partnerships and the clients that you work with.
No, I appreciate that. And John, the theme of channel partnerships and partnerships has been huge here. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, partnerships are paramount. So I think that we're an organization that certainly has a lot of what we would consider core competencies, innovative technology, our own ways in which we're doing things. And we also believe that you can't solve all the problems in the world by yourself, right? So whether you're partnering with others and bringing their solutions into, there's lots of different needs that people have. And whether you're referring, whether you're actually reselling and bundling and really creating, again, sort of a holistic experience for I as an individual who then is interacting with that solution. I don't really, frankly, as an individual, want to get passed around to a bunch of people. I want to feel like I'm part of an integrated ecosystem that is here to take care of me. And it's okay if I work with different people as long as it feels integrated and it feels like it's a part of the same experience. If it's disjointed, if it's disconnected, if my personal experience is left with gaps in between because I'm left questioning what my next step is, all of those things are problematic from an individual standpoint. And they ultimately, what they drive is someone giving up. They drive someone either taking a pause or taking a break and not sort of seeing that full completion of actions that would actually help take them down a healthier path.
Yeah, no, that's great. I really appreciate you speaking to the integration piece. Like, it could be fractured. Experiences could be very fractured, and that integration is critical. From your perspective, what separates organizations that achieve meaningful, lasting results with employee well-being from those that are simply just checking the box?
I think it's interesting. I think that organizations that view well-being as something that they have to have because they need it as an employee benefit, and they implement a digital solution, but they don't support it, they don't promote it, they don't integrate it into their organization culture. It's never spoken about at a leadership level inside of the organization. Those organizations are very much just checking the box and feeling that there's a need to have something in place. The organizations that are really embracing well-being and embracing the impact that it can have on the organization as it relates to helping really drive peak employee performance, as it really helps drive health risk improvement, which has a direct correlation to managing costs and actually minimizing sort of increases in costs tied to risks that aren't managed and left unattended to. Those organizations are really seeing different benefit. And I think for me, the things that stand out are when an organization embraces a programmatic approach and it's integrated into their culture, they're investing in supporting the development of well-being champion networks from their employees so that there's some level of extension and touch throughout their organization. There's communication, and leadership support is really, really key. Having leadership involvement, having leadership promotion, and leadership advocacy, it means a lot. We work with an organization that, a lot of organizations do very standard, say, wellness challenges and walks and things like that.
Those kind of
right?
things.
You see those things. One of the organizations that we work with has developed a very personalized, sort of tailored to their environment and their culture, which they refer to as basically the Beat the Boss Challenge. And it's, again, sort of that different aspect, right? Of then let's tie it to leadership. Let's tie it to, it's not just sort of it's good for you, but it's like, no, let's make this a part of how we show up. And when you then expand that into, again, all these different categories, you start thinking about how does caregiving get mixed in, because so many of us live in a sandwich generation of supporting elderly parents and supporting kids. And how does that impact work? How does that impact if you're going through menopause or perimenopause? How is that impacting work, and how are organizations caring and thinking about that? So we try and take a very holistic aspect of bridging and bringing all of those solutions into play. And really, the organizations that stand out are the ones that really embrace it in a fully integrated way.
That's great. And just to make things more real for me, because I have a question on this and also for the listeners, how does WebMD play into this? Like, can you help us understand what exactly you do for payers and employers, like accessing the content, like make it real for us?
Exactly. So we have a full digital innovative platform
Okay.
And the platform itself is obviously accessible via mobile. It's accessible via web. It's integrated into apps like Microsoft Teams. And it's really trying to meet people where they are. And so that digital platform has all of the traditional things that you would expect from like a health risk assessment to really help you understand where are you on your own individual path. And we're then
Okay.
going to provide recommendations. We're
Got
going to
it.
provide education. We're going to provide tools that help you take that next step to a better version of yourself. We're then going to introduce other things like whether it be rewards programs to help incent you on taking some of those steps. We're going to introduce preventative screening reminders to make sure that I get my colonoscopy because I'm in my 50s. And if I don't take my colonoscopy, that's not great, right?
Right.
If I'm a female and I need to get my mammogram taken, my annual mammogram, right? Those preventative service reminders need to be integrated into the platform. And then as it looks at other aspects, right? Well, I need to look at caregiving. I need to look at financial well-being because I need to make sure that my retirement, because all those things drive towards stress, they drive towards anxiety, they drive toward health risk, and specifically focusing in on where an individual is and where their riskiest levels are. How can we help them with those areas? And it is a combination of not only us being personalized and proactive with that support, but also meeting people with the areas that they want to focus on. So if I, as an individual, right, I'm going to go take my kids out on their college tours and I want to be able to make sure that I can make all those trips. I'm not out of breath and I can keep up with my kid on the campuses, right?
Yep.
I want to lose 20 pounds before those trips come up, right? I want support. I want help. That's my purpose. That's my motivation. So if you can tie things not just to, of course I want to be healthier and I want to lose some weight and I want to eat the right foods, but no, the purpose of that is my purpose is tied to my kids, or my purpose is tied to being here to support my aging parent. My purpose is I want to be the best version of myself, right? Those things are very real. And so WebMD provides both a combination of the tools and the people to help make that
That's
possible.
awesome. Super clear. Really appreciate you walking us through that. So the workplace, it plays a pivotal role in our day-to-day well-being. What do employers need to do to make employees feel cared for and perform at their best work?
Well, there's a lot of great studies out there that show that employees that don't feel cared for perform at different levels, are not showing up with the same conviction. You've heard whether it's the themes of quiet quitting or not really feeling seen inside of an organization. We've had, if you think about what employees have gone through, the trauma of going through the COVID times and everybody works from their home and now maybe they don't work from their homes. So do I work from my homes or am I remote or am I hybrid? What's the stress involved in this sort of yin yang of moving from bidirectionally through a lot of different things has introduced a lot of anxiety. It's introduced a lot of health risk inside of employees. And so organizations, the leading organizations that we see that are really making a difference are really focused in on organization care and making sure that having a healthy life is welcome, it's supported, it's honored. And ultimately, in our world, employers are responsible for the healthcare of their employees. And in that world, employers are definitely incented to make sure that not only are their employees healthy because it helps them from a health benefit side and the cost related to the benefits that they're providing, but it directly ties to employee performance. And you want an employee, we all know this, right? Instinctively, we know this, that if I feel my best when I show up for work, guess what? You're going to get a better version of me. I'm going to perform better.
Totally.
I'm going to be more present. I'm going to be more contributory. I'm going to lean in on certain things that I won't. If I'm tired, if I'm exhausted, if I'm sick, I'm missing work, if I'm stressed about a family member, all of those things take away from that performance. And in a world that organizations are trying ultimately to drive their bottom line and drive their own peak performance, they simply won't get there unless they're taking care of their employees. We have a saying that we've used internally, but I think it's really meaningful, that a lot of us intuitively know that in order to be the best versions of ourselves, you have to embrace your authentic self. If you believe that, if you truly believe that, right? Then as an organization, wouldn't you equally say that as an organization, for us to be ourselves, we have to enable and support everyone to be their authentic selves?
Totally.
Right? So if you can really sort of invite that, if you can enable that, if you can sponsor that, you have an opportunity to have a really high performing workforce, which is exactly what every organization actually wants.
And it's a competitive advantage.
And it's a competitive advantage. That's
Love
exactly
that.
right.
Yeah. No, this is so great, John. So looking ahead to the next 3 to 5 years, what bold bet is WebMD Health Services making that you believe will truly transform the healthcare experience?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that we're investing in a lot of different categories. I think that when you think about holistic well-being, certainly there's incremental categories of support that we want to be playing in, whether it's things like women's health or brain health. Those are very important, I think, to continue to focus in on the personalized categories of interest. We're continuing to invest in ways of driving deeper levels of personalization of both the digital technology with the human-based service. I think AI is going to play a role in all of that to enable and help foster reach in different levels that are really exciting. And I think a lot of it goes back to this mix of technology and people that we're investing in at a very significant level, because I think we are seeing, and there will be continued great evolution of digital technology. And I think if you're only focused on the digital technology aspect without the human support and the human involvement, that it'll fall short. And so the key bet for us is, how do those things play together? And how do they play together in a personalized way so that I'm getting the access to that human support when I really need it? And it's helped pushing me to that next level. And ultimately trying to leverage the digital technology to have as much reach as possible to support the broadest reach of people with exactly where they are on their own personal journey.
Love it. Meet them where they are. Tech and people make the difference.
There you go.
I love that, John. Well, look, I really appreciate you sharing the work that you guys are doing at WebMD Health Services, the vision, the people first mentality. And so if you wanted to leave a place for people to learn more, where can they reach out?
Certainly our website, right? WebMDHealthServices.com is always a great place. But for a lot of the business folks out there as well, we're super active on social. You can check us out on LinkedIn. You can certainly follow me on LinkedIn, John Harrison. But we're very, very active. We're in the space. Certainly come look for more information. We're happy to help meet you where you are and meet you with the needs that you may have as well.
Outstanding. John, thank you for that. And folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode on The Beat with John Harrison, President and General Manager of WebMD Health Services. Really appreciate y'all being with us. A little piece of the health conference straight into your earbuds. In the show notes, you're going to find all of the information that we talked about today, the links to WebMD Health Services LinkedIn, their website. Check those out. Take action on them, because this is how we make a difference.
That's right.
John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.